welcome to On Deck with Mike Steuart. In this episode, we're going to be getting into episode number 6 of the Limitless saga. A little different setup here, doing some work in the office, so we decided to move location. So, vessel security. We had left St. Bart's, on our way steaming, sailing down to the beautiful island of Antigua. We are en route to Barbados for the total eclipse of the sun. And so we're headed down to Antigua, and during the night, I noticed a radar target. We have a speedboat doing in excess of 25 to 30 knots headed straight for us, but they don't have their running lights on. It's required STCW requirements or Coast Guard requirements, maritime requirements. If you're on a vessel and you're running at night, you need to have your running lights on. You need to have your identification lights on so somebody can visually take out their glasses, their binoculars, and look and see what exactly they're looking at on the radar. They see a target. I mean, we had all the information. We knew it was a small vessel. We knew the speed and direction. It was headed straight for us, and it'd be upon us in a few 5 to 10 minutes. But then visually, when they're just a mile or two away, you should be able to look out the window and visually identify the vessel. So that makes you wonder what's going on. You got a vessel approaching straight on, not straight on, but coming straight at us, and they don't have their lights on at night. So it was time to sound the alarm and get everybody on deck, or at least awake, because we have a potential threat of pirates coming on board. It happens. It happens all over the world. I've been on a yacht to where woke up in the morning having my coffee, walking around on the decks, and noticed that we're minus a jet ski. So I guess two full-grown men had picked up that jet ski and somehow got it into the water, or splashed into the water, and we never heard anything. But on this particular yacht, we didn't have a lot of security as far as on-deck security. No CCTVs and things of that nature. No pressure pads on the deck underneath the teak like the Limitless does. So back on the Limitless, we have security. We have weapons on board. Were they legal? Probably not. When your life's on the line, really, are you going to let a piece of paper, a little legality, stand between you and death? I don't think so. Not that it was my call at all. They had the weapons on board way before I came. Anybody that's former military might know the acronym LAW, law, and that stands for a light anti-tank weapon. So you've probably seen it in movies. It's those tube-shaped deals. Boop, you pull out a tube, set it on your shoulder, flip up the sights, and have a readout of the distances in meters or yards. And then it just has a little rubber button right here on the top. And it's a one-time use. You just aim it, you just pull it out, activate it, arm it, flip up the sights, check out what you're looking at, zero in, guesstimate, judge the distance, and then press the little rubber button, and a missile, a light anti-tank missile shoots out. It's a one-time use. It's not good for anything. You can't reload it. And then it shoots out, and it's a tank destroyer. It'll kill a tank. It'll probably kill a boat pretty good too. So we had several of them on board. We had a Tommy gun, otherwise known as, this one was a .45 caliber grease gun. Just to spray lead. That's what the purpose of that sucker was for. There we had a couple of pistols on board, 9mm, .45 caliber ACPs, smoke bombs, obviously your safety stuff as well, flare guns, a couple of smoke bombs. So we had a little arsenal, but really our best weapon was the cameras. We had a FLIR, forward FLIR, which stands for forward-looking infrared. We had a camera where we could see through the darkness, and pick out objects. We had CCTV that covered all the decks. Like I said before, we had the pressure pads underneath the teak decks that could tell if somebody had come on board. Laser beams, if somebody actually walked past the beam, that they wouldn't be able to see it unless they had some sort of dust or smoke. You could see the beams, but not with the naked eye, you couldn't see it. So we had a lot of security. We had 18 people on board. Not that they were all going to be doing hand-to-hand combat, I mean, that's always a bad idea at sea. With pirates coming on board with guns and knives, you really don't want to get into a frontal assault, a frontal combat situation. You want to evade as much as possible. As it turned out, they probably had us confused with their mothership. We thought maybe they might be some drug smugglers. Not to say that we were applying the correct procedures outlined in the International Maritime Organization on vessel security, but at least it's an example of what you can do with vessel security. We're heading down to Antigua. We get pulled into Antigua. We sail into, finally we've come to a harbor that we can dock at. So we spin around, back her down into our little slip on the dock in Falmouth Harbor, Antigua. Beautiful place. That's where we're going to be picking up. The owner's going to be flying his personal jet into the big airport in St. John's, and then just bringing him over to the boat, walking straight off the dock. So we want to have I wanted to share with you a little urban legend. The infamous Donkey Man of Antigua. So if anybody's been down to Antigua and happened to have been around the area of Falmouth Harbor, hit the like button, smash that like button. Yeah, it's an urban legend, but it's real, it's true. I saw it with my own eyes. So me and one of the crew members were out at one of the bars late one night, coming back, we're just walking out of the bar, and there in the shadows against the woods, against the forest, we see the silhouette of a donkey and a man, actually two donkeys, like a mama donkey and a baby donkey, and an old grizzled Rasta man with a tethered line walking the donkeys down a path. And we were like, there he is, it's the Donkey Man of Antigua. My cohort, my crew member, asked if he could ride the donkey, and for a small donation. That's how this guy made his living, giving people rides. So my crew member jumps up on, we give the guy a 20, and he starts taking us down this path. Then of course, we're like, he's like, are you interested in buying some weed, some grass, some ganja? So we're like, sure, we'll buy a couple of doobies from you. So he's like, all right, we'll just have to go down this path. So he takes us down this long, winding path through the woods and the forest of Antigua, and break out over this little valley. It's a half hour, 45-minute tour here. Now, mind you, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. You can see once we got out of the woods and all the trees and broke out into the fields, you could see everything. It was really nice. So we're coming up on these little bungalows. You can see candlelight inside there. You can hear some Rasta music, Bob Marley kicking through the speakers. And there's probably a dozen people sprinkled throughout the porch, inside, moving around, outside. Everybody's just dancing and drinking and smoking and having a good time. And here we come, two white guys on the back of a donkey, led by this old Rasta man, coming up into this compound. It's either going to go two ways. It's either going to be absolutely wonderful, fantastic, or we're going to be in a lot of trouble here. As it turned out, it was okay. These were really peace-loving, just super great, chilled out people. We gave them some money, bought a couple of joints from them, got high with them, and listened to some music, drank some beer, and had a great time. We stayed there for about another hour until it was getting pretty late, and it was time for us to shove off. And actually, it was a roundabout way to get back to the port. So me and my crew member, we said our farewells, said our goodbyes after meeting all the Rastas in the woods. So it was a cool experience. You got to get out of your own head every now and then. Share somebody else's culture, share somebody else's life. And highly recommend to, whenever you're visiting the Caribbeans, the West Indies, get out of the tourist traps, get away, go meet the real people, go meet the real locals, and listen to their stories, have something to record their story. I mean, they got some incredible stories. So we're leaving, getting ready to head off to Barbados in a few days. And one of the other downsides of having a big, super massive yacht like the Limitless is, so when you're pulling into a harbor and you're setting your bow anchors, there's a lot of other boats out there. There's a lot of other boats that are set their anchor chains as well into the harbor. So it's like a kind of a crisscross. You can start having a crisscross of anchor chains all over the place. So we're leaving. We're pulling our one of our anchors, our starboard bow anchor in. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at, there's next to us on the dock is this beautiful 120-foot sloop, just a gorgeous sailboat. And I noticed that its anchor chain is starting to get really, really taut, where water droplets are just starting to jump off this chain. It's really the stress. It's just like kind of popping like that. And then I see a couple of the crew members from that boat run up on deck, run out to the bow where they've got their winch bolted down on the chain, on their anchor chain, and they start screaming and yelling, throwing their hands at us. Stop, stop, stop. You're pulling our boat apart. So I get on the radio and I'm like, stop the anchors. Well, we got a problem here. As we're bringing in our anchor, we're snagged onto theirs and we're pulling theirs with us. So we're literally pulling their anchor chain right out of their hold. That's why you want to have people out there on radios looking to see what's going on. We had a huge snare in the harbor. We had to get the harbor divers to come out there, stop all operations, because we had divers go down there. But it's a huge mess. And of course, everybody loves, the biggest yacht, the big super yacht in the harbor. That's just ruining everybody's day. Gotta love that. That's why we just keep cases and cases of champagne, of Dom Perignon, to hand out and give away every time we basically come in, wash down, pull out of a harbor. We have to say I'm sorry to everybody. We always end up doing something. So anyway, we take off, boom, we go over to Barbados. We're in the perfect location for viewing the total eclipse of the sun. So after that, the owner leaves. His entourage, family, everybody gone. It's our boat again, and it's time to get back to work. There's lots to do on a super yacht when the owner's away.